After 60 years, the person who will accompany you until the end is not your wife nor your children. Life is a journey marked by countless milestones. Think back to all you've accomplished: building a career, starting a family, raising children, and perhaps even retiring after years of dedication. At every step, you've likely relied on the belief that the relationships you've nurtured, your spouse, your children, your closest family, will stand by your side until the end. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? But what if I told you that this belief, as reassuring as it may seem, doesn't fully capture the truth? Take a moment to picture your life at 60 and beyond. The children you raised with so much love and care are now grown, busy with their own lives, families, and careers. Your spouse, who's been your partner through thick and thin, may be battling their own aging journey or even absent due to separation, illness, or loss. Slowly but surely, life starts to shift in ways we seldom prepare for. You may find yourself wondering, who will truly be there for me in these golden years? Here's the surprising truth. The person who will accompany you until the very end is not your wife. It's not your children. It's someone else entirely. In fact, this person has been with you all along, but you may not have realized it yet. By the time we're finished today, I'll reveal who this companion is and why understanding this now can change your life forever. As we age, priorities evolve. The bonds we once thought unshakable can waver under the pressures of time and circumstance. This isn't to say your family and loved ones won't care for you or offer support. But the deep truth is that your ultimate companion, the one who will never leave you, never falter, and never grow distant, is far closer than you've ever imagined. In today's journey, we'll explore what aging teaches us about relationships, identity, and the power of self-reliance. Together, we'll uncover why true companionship is not about who stands by your side, but about who stands within you. By the end of this video, you'll have not only a new perspective on life after 60, but also actionable steps to prepare yourself for the most fulfilling and empowering chapter of your life yet. So buckle up, my friends. This is going to be an eye-opening exploration of what it really means to embrace life after 60. Let's dive in. That's number 1, the illusion of lifelong bonds. Life has a way of convincing us that certain relationships are unbreakable. From the day we're born, we're surrounded by family, friends, and loved ones who shape our understanding of connection and support. As we grow older, many of us naturally assume that these relationships, particularly with our spouse and children, will remain steadfast. But the truth is more complex: the role of family in earlier years. Think back to the earlier stages of your life. Your spouse was likely your closest confidant, someone you leaned on through life's ups and downs. Together, you might have faced the trials of raising a family, managing careers, and building a home. Your children, in turn, were the center of your world. You taught them, protected them, and poured your heart into their future. In those years, family feels like the foundation of everything. There's a deep sense of interconnectedness, a belief that these bonds will hold firm no matter what. But as time goes on, the landscape shifts. Children grow up, move away, and begin building their own lives. Your spouse, if you're fortunate enough to grow old together, may be navigating their own health challenges or even experiencing emotional distance. And while these bonds remain meaningful, they might not look the same as they once did. The changing nature of relationships. Relationships are fluid. What starts as an intense and fulfilling connection can evolve or even fade with time. Children, as much as they love you, will inevitably prioritize their own families and careers. The demands of their lives often leave little time for regular visits, phone calls, or deep conversations. It's not that they love you any less. It's just the natural rhythm of life. Spouses, too, can face challenges as the years progress. Physical health, mental well-being, and the emotional toll of aging can affect how partners connect. Sometimes the loss of a spouse, whether through separation or death, leaves a void that no one else can quite fill. The emotional gap. This brings us to a stark reality. Despite the love and care of those around us, many people experience an emotional gap as they age. A study conducted on aging adults revealed that loneliness is a growing concern, even among those with close family ties. Why? Because as life changes, the depth of emotional connection often shifts too. Family and friends may still care deeply, but their ability to be present in the way you once relied on can wane. This emotional gap can feel disheartening at first, but it's also an invitation to look inward. When we stop placing all our expectations on others to fill our emotional needs, we open the door to discovering something profound, the strength and companionship within ourselves. The turning point. Recognizing that the bonds we've held dear may change isn't a sign of failure. It's a natural progression of life. And here's the empowering truth. You have the ability to navigate this transition with grace and resilience. While it's essential to honor and cherish the relationships that remain, it's equally important to cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself. As we move forward, we'll explore how to embrace this turning point and reframe it as an opportunity for growth and fulfillment. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the specific roles of your spouse and children after 60, and why they might not always be the companions you expect. Stay tuned, it's about to get even more enlightening. Number 2, the role of your spouse and children after 60. Let's have an honest talk about the people closest to you, your spouse and your children. They've been such a big part of your life, haven't they? Your partner, the person you've built a life with, and your kids, the ones you've raised, loved, and sacrificed so much for. It's natural to think that they'll always be by your side, especially as you age. But life has a way of shifting, and the roles your spouse and children play in your life often change too. This doesn't mean they love you any less, but the way they're present in your life may not always look like what you expect. The evolving role of your spouse. Let's start with your spouse. If you've been lucky enough to share decades together, you've likely weathered storms, celebrated milestones, and built a partnership that's deeply meaningful. But as the years go by, even the strongest marriages face new challenges. Aging brings changes that affect both partners, health issues, differing energy levels, or even emotional shifts that come with retirement or major life changes. You may find that the way you connect isn't the same as it used to be. And that's okay. The truth is, as much as you share your life with your spouse, you're still two individuals on separate journeys. Recognizing that can bring a sense of freedom to your relationship, where you support each other without losing sight of your own needs. And then there's the harsh reality that no one wants to talk about. Sometimes you lose a spouse. Whether it's through illness, separation, or the inevitability of life, many people face this loss. It's a pain like no other, but it's also a reminder of why it's so important to nurture your own sense of self alongside your relationship, your children's changing lives. Now let's talk about your kids. If you're a parent, you know the kind of love that comes with raising children. You've poured so much of yourself into helping them grow, succeed, and build lives of their own, and they love you for it. But as they get older, their priorities naturally shift. Your children now have their own families, careers, and responsibilities. They're juggling so much: work deadlines, school drop-offs, bills to pay. And as much as they might want to spend more time with you, life can get in the way. This doesn't mean they don't care. They absolutely do. But the way they show it might look different now. Maybe they don't call or visit as often as you'd like. Maybe they seem distracted when you do get together. It's not because you're not important. It's because they're navigating their own busy lives. And that's okay. Instead of feeling hurt by it, try to embrace the moments you do get to share with them. Let go of expectations and focus on the quality of your connection, no matter how often it happens. The emotional shift. Here's where things get tricky. It's easy to feel a gap when the people you've counted on, your spouse or your kids, aren't able to fill the same roles they once did. That gap can feel like loneliness, disappointment, or even resentment if you're not careful. But this is also where an important realization can change everything. While your spouse and children will always hold a special place in your heart, they aren't the sole answer to your happiness. Letting go of the idea that they're responsible for meeting all your emotional needs is freeing. It opens up space for you to find fulfillment in other ways, through friendships, hobbies, or even your relationship with yourself. This doesn't mean you love them any less. It just means you're learning to love yourself more. Appreciating the roles they do play. While their roles may change, your spouse and children are still incredibly important parts of your life. Maybe your spouse is your companion on this journey, sharing quiet moments or supporting you in ways that might seem small but are deeply meaningful. Maybe your kids are the ones who bring bursts of joy into your life through phone calls, visits, or even just sending a funny text. Instead of focusing on what they're not able to do, take a moment to appreciate what they are doing. Celebrate the love you share in whatever form it takes. And remember, it's not about the quantity of time spent together, it's about the quality. A new chapter. As life changes, so do relationships. And that's not a bad thing. It's an opportunity to redefine how you connect with your spouse and children in ways that are healthier, more realistic, and ultimately more fulfilling. They'll always be important parts of your story, but they're not the whole story. This next chapter is about broadening your world and embracing all the connections that make life beautiful. Because here's the truth. While your spouse and children will always love you, the person who will truly walk with you every step of the way is you. And that's not a loss. It's a chance to discover how strong, capable, and whole you really are. Number 3, the unsung companion, yourself. Let's get real for a moment. Life after 60 brings a lot of changes. Kids grow up and move on. Your career might be behind you, and even your relationship with your spouse evolves in ways you might not have expected. So it's natural to ask, who's really going to be there for me through it all? Here's the truth that might surprise you. The one person who will always be there, no matter what, is you. That's right. Your greatest companion in life isn't someone else. It's yourself. It's a truth that's both empowering and challenging, but once you embrace it, it can transform how you live the rest of your life. Why you are your greatest companion? Think about it for a moment. Who has been with you through every high, every low, every sleepless night, and every moment of joy? It's been you. You've carried yourself through every challenge, celebrated every victory, and been there for yourself, even when no one else could. Now, I know it's easy to overlook this. We spend so much of our lives taking care of others, our spouses, our kids, our friends, that we forget to nurture the relationship we have with ourselves. But as life slows down and those roles shift, it's time to reconnect with that person in the mirror. Here's the thing. Building a strong relationship with yourself isn't about isolating yourself or pushing others away. It's about realizing that your happiness, your peace, and your sense of purpose don't have to depend on anyone else. They start with you. Learning to be your own best friend. So how do you even begin to build that relationship? It starts with treating yourself with the same kindness and care you'd show to someone you love. Think about the patience and understanding you've given to others over the years. Now it's time to give that to yourself. One of the best ways to reconnect with yourself is to rediscover the things that bring you joy. What lights you up? Is it painting, gardening, writing, or maybe something you've always wanted to try but never had the chance to? This is your time. Dive into those hobbies or explore new ones. It's not just about staying busy, it's about finding fulfillment in your own company. Another way to strengthen your connection with yourself is to spend time in quiet reflection. You don't have to meditate or journal unless you want to, but take a few moments each day to just be with your thoughts. Listen to your inner voice. What is it telling you? What do you need right now? Reflection helps you understand yourself better and gives you clarity about what truly matters. And let's talk about self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on ourselves, especially when we think about the things we didn't do or the mistakes we made. But you deserve the same forgiveness and grace you'd offer a close friend. You've made it this far. That's worth celebrating. Treat yourself with care and kindness because you've earned it. Embracing solitude without feeling lonely. One of the biggest fears people have about growing older is being alone. But here's the truth. Solitude and loneliness are not the same thing. Solitude is a choice, a chance to be with yourself, to recharge, and to discover who you are when the world quiets down. Loneliness, on the other hand, is a feeling of disconnection. When you're comfortable with yourself, solitude becomes a gift, not a burden. Think of it this way: when you enjoy your own company, you'll never truly feel alone. You'll find peace in the quiet moments, joy in simple activities, and strength in knowing you're enough just as you are. Stories of self-companionship. Let me share a few examples of people who've embraced self-companionship and found it to be a source of strength and joy. Take Mary, who lost her husband of 40 years. At first, she felt completely adrift, but one day she dusted off an old set of watercolors and started painting again. She says it became her therapy, her passion, and her connection to herself. "I thought I couldn't live without him," she said, "but I found a part of myself I hadn't seen in years." Then there's John, who started hiking alone after his kids moved away. At first, it was just to fill the silence, but over time, those solitary hikes became his sanctuary. "I thought I needed someone to go with me," he shared, "but I realized I just needed to give myself permission to enjoy life." These aren't extraordinary people. They're just like you. They faced loss, change, and uncertainty, but they found something extraordinary within themselves. The rewards of knowing yourself. Here's the best part. When you invest in your relationship with yourself, the rewards ripple out into every area of your life. You become more resilient because you know you can handle life's challenges. Your relationships with others improve because you're not relying on them to complete you. You're already whole. And most importantly, you find a sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from within. You don't need anyone else to tell you that you matter. You already do. And when you realize that, you'll live with a confidence and joy that no one can take away. Number 4, the importance of friendships after 60. Let's talk about friendships, real, meaningful friendships. After 60, these connections matter more than ever. They're not just nice to have, they're essential. Friends aren't just people you laugh with. They're the ones who show up, who listen, who remind you that you're never truly alone. Now, life after 60 can be a time of incredible change. Kids grow up and build their own lives. Work, once a central focus, might no longer be part of your day-to-day. And while family is important, let's be honest, friends fill a space that no one else quite can. They bring a sense of equality, freedom, and shared understanding that's hard to match. Why friendships matter more than ever. Think about the role friends have played in your life so far. They've celebrated your highs, stuck with you during the lows, and made the ordinary moments special. But as you age, friends become more than companions. They become lifelines. Here's why. Friendships keep you connected to the world. They give you someone to talk to, someone to share your thoughts and feelings with. And the science backs this up. Studies have shown that having close friends can boost your physical health, improve your mental well-being, and even help you live longer. That's right. Friends are good for your heart and your soul. Beyond the science, though, friendships bring joy. They bring laughter, deep conversations, and the kind of comfort that makes you feel safe and understood. In your later years, that kind of connection can feel like a breath of fresh air. In later years. Now, I know making new friends after 60 can feel a little intimidating. Maybe your old social circles have shifted. Maybe you've moved to a new area, or find yourself wondering where to even start. But the good news is that it's never too late to form meaningful connections. Start with the interests you already have. Do you enjoy reading? Join a book club. Love gardening? Find a local group of green thumbs. Volunteering, fitness classes, or even just regular trips to a coffee shop can open doors to meeting like-minded people. Here's the thing. Friendships don't always happen overnight. They take time and a bit of effort, but the payoff is worth it. All it takes is one shared conversation, one kind gesture, or one moment of vulnerability to turn an acquaintance into a friend. Nurturing lifelong friendships. If you're lucky enough to have friends you've known for years, hold on to them. These are the people who've seen you through so many chapters of life. They know your history, your quirks, and your heart. But even lifelong friendships need care. Don't let distance or time create a gap. Call them. Visit if you can. Send a note to let them know you're thinking of them. Little gestures go a long way in keeping those bonds strong. At the same time, be open to new connections. Just because someone hasn't been in your life for decades doesn't mean they can't become a meaningful part of your journey. Sometimes the best friendships come from unexpected places. Stories of friendship after 60. Let me share a couple of examples of how friendships can transform your golden years. Take Helen and Margaret. These two met in college, and though they now live hundreds of miles apart, they still talk every week. They even visit each other once a year. No matter what's going on, Helen says, we're always there for each other. Then there's Tom, who joined a cycling group after retiring. At first, he thought it was just a way to stay active. But over time, those fellow cyclists became his closest friends. We don't just ride together, Tom says, we share life together. Or Maria, who moved to a new city and didn't know anyone. She joined a gardening club and quickly found herself surrounded by people who shared her love of plants and her passion for good conversation. I thought I was just planting flowers, Maria laughs, but I was planting friendships too. The power of connection. Friendships after 60 aren't about quantity, they're about quality. Whether it's an old friend who knows your history or a new friend who shares your present, these relationships are what make life richer, fuller, and more meaningful. So reach out, make that call, say yes to that invitation, and don't be afraid to introduce yourself to someone new. Friendships don't just happen, they're built, and the time you invest in them will come back to you tenfold. Because here's the truth, as much as you've given to others over the years, you deserve to receive too. And friends are the ones who remind you of your worth, who laugh with you, and who stand by you no matter what. After 60, friends aren't just nice to have, they're your partners in this beautiful stage of life. Number 5, health and independence as your greatest companions. Let's talk about two things that truly define the quality of your life after 60, your health and your independence. These aren't just things we should care about, they're the very foundation of a life well lived. Without them, even the simplest joys like spending time with loved ones or pursuing a favorite hobby can feel out of reach. Now I get it. Talking about health can feel overwhelming. Sometimes we ignore it because we don't want to face the reality of aging. But here's the thing. Your health is your partner. It's been with you your whole life. And now, more than ever, it's time to treat it with the care and respect it deserves. Health as a lifelong companion. Think about all the things you've asked of your body over the years. You've worked, played, raised families, traveled, and weathered storms. Your body has carried you through it all. But now, it needs you to be a partner. If you nurture your health, it will nurture you right back. Here's what I mean. Staying healthy doesn't have to mean running marathons or overhauling your entire lifestyle. It's about small, consistent steps that make a big difference. A simple walk around the block can keep your heart strong. Choosing a colorful plate of fruits and vegetables over processed snacks can give your body the fuel it needs. And regular checkups? They're like giving your car a tune-up, preventing problems before they become serious. But it's not just about your body. Your mind needs attention too. Keeping your brain active with puzzles, books, or even learning something new can keep you sharp. And don't underestimate the power of connection. Staying social and talking to people you care about is just as important as exercise for your mental health. I know these things can sound easier said than done. You might think I've already got aches and pains, or it's too late for me to start. Let me tell you, it's never too late. Every step you take toward better health, no matter how small, is a step toward a more vibrant, joyful life. The role of independence. Now let's talk about independence. After 60, independence isn't just about living on your own or taking care of daily tasks. It's about having the freedom to make choices, to do what you love, and to live life on your terms. Maintaining independence starts with staying active, physically, mentally, and socially. You don't have to climb mountains to be active. It can be as simple as a morning stretch, gardening, or walking your dog. Movement keeps your body strong and your mind engaged, giving you the confidence to navigate life with ease. But independence is also about adaptability. Maybe your body isn't as spry as it used to be. That's okay. Making small adjustments, like installing grab bars in the bathroom or wearing shoes with better support, can keep you safe without limiting your freedom. Financial independence plays a role too. Knowing how to manage your money, budgeting wisely, and understanding your options can give you peace of mind and control over your future. Most importantly, independence is about purpose. It's waking up each day with something to look forward to. Whether it's volunteering, learning a new skill, or connecting with friends, these activities give you a reason to keep moving forward. Stories of thriving through health and independence. Let me share a couple of stories. Take Margaret, for example. After retiring, she joined a local yoga class, something she'd never tried before. At 72, she says, "I feel stronger and more balanced than I did in my 50s." It's not just her body that's thriving. Her confidence has soared too. Then there's Robert, who had a health scare in his late 60s. Instead of letting it define him, he used it as a wake-up call. He started cooking healthy meals, walking every evening, and even learned to swim. "I'm not just living longer," he said, "I'm living better." Or Anna, who refused to let age define her independence. After her husband passed, she learned to use a smartphone, joined a book club, and started volunteering. "I may not have the same life I did before," she says, "but I'm living a new one that's just as fulfilling." A partnership that pays off. Your health and independence are the keys to a vibrant life after 60. When you take care of your body, mind, and spirit, you're investing in the freedom to live fully. And when you maintain your independence, you're empowering yourself to pursue the things that make you happy. The best part? These two things go hand in hand. Staying healthy helps you remain independent, and staying independent motivates you to prioritize your health. It's a cycle that keeps building on itself, creating a life where you feel strong, capable, and free. So today, take a small step. Go for a walk, call a friend, eat something nourishing, or learn something new. Every effort you make brings you closer to a life where health and independence aren't just companions, they're your greatest allies. Number 6, legacy and purpose. Let's take a moment to think about something powerful. Legacy. What does it mean to you? For some, it's the idea of leaving behind something tangible, a house, savings, or a collection of cherished possessions. For others, it's less about things and more about the memories, lessons, and values you've passed on. Here's the truth. Your legacy isn't just what you leave behind when you're gone. It's how you live every single day. And the beauty of this stage in life is that you have the time and freedom to make it as meaningful as possible. When you reach this point in your journey, you might start to wonder, what's next? What's my purpose now? That's an important question. Purpose isn't just for the young or those chasing careers. Purpose is what gives your days direction, your moments depth, and your heart a reason to keep beating with excitement. The incredible thing about being over 60 is that you get to redefine what legacy and purpose mean to you. It's no longer about the rat race, building careers, or raising a family. You've done all that. Now it's about finding fulfillment in new ways. It's about sharing the wisdom you've gathered, embracing the passions you may have set aside, and living with intention. Your legacy begins with the relationships you've nurtured. Think about the people you've impacted, your children, grandchildren, friends, colleagues, and even strangers you've crossed paths with. Maybe you've given advice that changed someone's life or offered a helping hand when it was needed most. These moments might seem small to you, but to someone else, they could be unforgettable. And don't underestimate the power of sharing your story. You've lived through decades of experiences, challenges, triumphs, lessons learned the hard way. Why not put those stories into words? Write them down, record them, or simply tell them to those who will carry them forward. Your story matters, and it deserves to be remembered. But legacy isn't just about looking backward. It's about how you live right now. Every day is an opportunity to shape the memories you'll leave behind. Imagine how it feels to share a laugh with a friend, teach your grandchild something new, or create something that brings joy to others. Those are the moments that define a legacy. Now, let's talk about purpose. After 60, finding your purpose can feel like rediscovering an old friend you haven't seen in years. It might not look like it did when you were younger, and that's okay. Purpose evolves. Maybe your purpose now is to share your talents, to help others, or to simply embrace the joy of living fully. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as tending to a garden, learning to paint, or volunteering at a local shelter. It's about doing what lights you up inside, what makes you feel alive and connected. When you live with purpose, you wake up each day excited to see what it holds, and that energy ripples outward. I want to share a story with you. Evelyn, a retired nurse, found herself wondering what to do with her time after she left her demanding career. She felt adrift, like many of us do when we transition into a new phase of life. But then she decided to volunteer at a local clinic, mentoring young nurses. She says it gave her life a whole new meaning. "I may not be on the floor anymore," she said, "but I'm still making a difference. That's all I've ever wanted." Then there's Tom, who found his purpose in a completely unexpected way. After retiring, he turned his backyard into a community garden. What started as a hobby became a gathering place for neighbors to connect, learn, and grow together, literally and figuratively. Tom says, "I thought I was just growing vegetables, but really, I was planting relationships." Purpose doesn't have to be complicated. It's about listening to your heart and doing what makes you feel fulfilled. Maybe it's mentoring, creating art, traveling, or even just being present for the people you love. Whatever it is, it's worth pursuing. As you think about your own legacy and purpose, remember this: it's never too late to make an impact. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, every moment is a chance to create something meaningful. Live your life in a way that reflects your values, brings you joy, and leaves the world a little brighter because you were here. So, what will your legacy be? How will you find your purpose? The answers to those questions are uniquely yours. But one thing is certain: your story isn't over. You have so much left to give, to explore, and to enjoy. Let this be the chapter where you shine the brightest. Conclusion: wisdom for the journey ahead. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed. Life after 60 is not about winding down or stepping back. It's about stepping forward into a new chapter. It's a time to embrace change, rediscover yourself, and live with intention. We've talked about the importance of self-companionship, friendships, health, independence, legacy, and purpose. Each of these plays a vital role in creating a life that feels fulfilling, balanced, and joyful. And the best part? You have the power to shape this chapter in a way that reflects everything you value most. Here's the truth: you are not defined by what you've done or what you've been through. You are defined by the choices you make today. Every small action you take, whether it's nurturing your health, calling a friend, pursuing a passion, or simply taking a quiet moment to appreciate yourself, adds richness to your journey. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up for yourself and for the people who matter to you, one day at a time. It's about living with courage, curiosity, and gratitude for the life you have. So what's next for you? Will you take that walk, pick up that paintbrush, make that call, or write down the story you've been meaning to tell? Whatever it is, start today. The next chapter of your life is waiting, and it's filled with potential, love, and the chance to create memories that will define your legacy. Remember, your journey isn't over. It's just entering a new and beautiful phase, and you're exactly where you need to be to make it the best one yet. Go forward with confidence, because the best is yet to come.